Okay, let's turn our attention to this unemployment. It's a problem all over the world, certainly among different classes of society, but it does seem that the young'uns, the youth unemployment is one area in particular, I should say, that remains stubbornly high worldwide. A new report led by the ILO, that's the organization, predicts that the number of unemployed people aged between 15 and 24 years old will rise by 500,000 this year. The total will be about 71 million. So 71 million 15 to 24-year-olds out of work. Steve Tobin is in Geneva from the ILO and joins us. Stephen, great to have you with us. Stephen, after a number of, correct me if I'm wrong, because I thought after a number of, or at least a couple of years of improvement, it seems like we're going backwards again. Well, why is that?
That's very true. I mean, I think, as you mentioned, after 3 years of improvement, we anticipate a significant increase in 2016. I think the major challenge is really a slowdown in some of the major emerging economies, in particular Latin America. And this really was a recession which was much deeper than anticipated. And so I think the effects of that, in particular in 2015, starting to play out in the labor market this year, and to a lesser extent in 2017. And this is having a profound impact on global labor markets, with a particularly sort of negative effect on youth.
You mentioned Latin America. I'm just wondering also that, you know, other parts of the world, one, and again, correct me if I'm wrong, but one would assume we have bigger youth unemployment problems in very high youth populations, such as the Middle East, for example, and certain parts of Asia. Is that right?
No, absolutely. I mean, these countries and regions are also struggling with the issue of unemployment, and we see in Arab states, I think, the highest level of unemployment globally. I think, though, the issue in many of these emerging and developing countries is also not just a question of quantity, but also quality. So many of the youth who do have a job, unfortunately, they're not earning enough to sort of lift them above certain poverty thresholds. And so our report shows that some 156 million youth worldwide have a job, but are earning less than $3.10 a day, which is very worrying.
And apart from that, because, I mean, I've got to tread carefully here, but I think it is a question I think, you know, some people would want to ask. Does any part of this problem, is it part of I don't know, a certain youth society where youth don't, either it's laziness or, and I'm not saying it's the major factor here, but I'm just wondering if it's part of the problem, either laziness or certain youth are not prepared to do the particular jobs available?
No, I mean, I think that the reality is that since the financial crisis of 2007, 2008, the global economy remains unstable. Economic uncertainty continues to prevail, and quite often what happens is the growth projections that we anticipate are continuously revised downwards. And this is having huge implications for the labor market in terms of the capacity of firms and countries to create jobs. And unfortunately, youth are some of the major groups that are being left behind.
And just very briefly, we can't fix this problem until we start seeing better global growth? Is that the picture?
No, I mean, I think the reality is we have to keep in mind that many of the countries who are fighting sort of these deeper than anticipated recessions are putting in place measures to stimulate their economy. But what we would like to see from the ILO is that when doing this, they take into account, some of the employment and social objectives, in particular by designing growth packages that take into consideration some of the challenges faced by young people.
Okay. Hey, Stephen, we appreciate your time. Thank you very much, mate. Stephen Tobin joining us from Geneva from the ILO, the International